You think about moving to Iowa, but you don't know what it's like to live here? Well, I'm gonna cover a few things that you may not know from online research, but I've lived here my whole life and I wanna share them with you. Hey there, Alex Skeen here, and if this is the first time to the channel and you wanna know what it's like to work, eat, sleep, and play in the Quad Cities, well, you're gonna really wanna hit that subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to get notified every single time we upload a new video. And honestly, we get so many calls, texts, emails from folks like you who are either moving or relocating to the area, and we absolutely love it. So, if that's you, give us a call, send us a text. Heck, if you want to, send the Pony Express. We'll be there to answer you. Now, I'm going to cover a lot of different topics, but you're actually going to enjoy the last one. It talks about deer, and there's a specific story that I'm going to tell you as a warning. So you want to stick around to the end because it's kind of comical, but also it's a good warning for you about the deer here in Iowa. So when moving to Iowa, you're probably curious what the kind of food culture there is here in Iowa. And you're probably thinking it's probably a little boring. For the most part, you're right. You know, most part we're gonna be looking at meat and potatoes, not a lot of spices, all that kind of stuff. But the one thing I will say about Iowa food, especially around the Iowa Fair, is that we make pretty much anything on a stick. I'm talking pretty much anything. I've seen fried butter on a stick. I've seen a pork chop on a stick. I've even seen what they call a salad on a stick. It's insane to me, but it is something that we have at the Iowa Fair, and you can get pretty much anything that you want in stick form if you want that. But just for the regular food, one huge popular food item here in Iowa is the pork tenderloin. Now, big reason for this, in Iowa, pork is a huge market. We actually have, I believe it's 8 pigs for every person here in Iowa. So as a part of that, one of our quote-unquote staples is a pork tenderloin sandwich. And anywhere you go in the state of Iowa, you're gonna see people claiming they got the best pork tenderloin out there because it's kind of a piece of pride for a lot of people. I personally like one here in the Quad Cities at 11th Street, but back for where I grew up, there's a small town called Dunlap, and in this small town of Dunlap, they have a store. They make one of the best pork tenderloins there is. You know, you can fight me if you want to, but I think it's one of the best. So coming to Iowa, expect that you're gonna see pork tenderloin. Go to the state fair, you're gonna see everything on a stick. But in general, the food here, you know, pretty basic. Meat, potatoes, not a lot else. In Iowa, there are 99 counties and sorry, got a little out of hand there, but it's true. In Iowa, there are 99 counties, and I wish it was 100. Now, if you go up north, there's a county called Kossuth County, and honestly, personally, I think they're a little bit greedy. You know, editor, pull up a map right here, show them Kossuth. Well, you can see, if we just cut that one in half, we'd have it even 100, but apparently they're a little greedy, and they want all of that land themselves, but I guess that's all right. But just know when you do move to Iowa, there are 99 counties. Each county has their own county seat, which is the center for the government in that county. Most of them are gonna have a courthouse to go to. That's where you're gonna get your registrations done. It's just gonna be the place that you're gonna do any type of governmental work that's gonna go on. So when you move here, just know which county you're gonna go to, and then also know which city in that county is gonna be the county seat, because that is gonna affect where you're gonna get your car registered, where you're gonna go to the courthouse. All those sorts of things matter because everything's gonna be a little bit of a drive. Now in Iowa, our state capital is called Des Moines, not Des Moines, Des Moines. It's called Des Moines. I've seen just about every pronunciation under the book, and it is pronounced Des Moines. No S, the S is silent off the end. Now Des Moines is our capital city, and it is the largest city in Iowa. So in the capital area, they do have a really beautiful Capitol building. It has a big bright gold top to it that just actually recently got redone. and it is just a really cool building to go to in general. If you go inside, you can look up into the dome, which is a really cool place to go to, as well as going to all the lawmakers here in Iowa. That's where you're going to go, is Des Moines. So keep that in mind. It's located right in the center of the state. So if you want to get anywhere and you want to get to that center point, well, maybe move a little closer to that, because that is where our capital is. Now, when you move to Iowa and you become a citizen, just so you know, the people of Iowa are called Iowans. And Iowans are generally found to be extremely friendly people. And this is popularized by the Iowa Nice Guy. Yeah, it's a YouTube guy, I don't know, a few years ago. He just made YouTube videos about Iowa Nice and how the people of Iowa are super friendly. And it's something that you got to expect when moving here. If you go to a gas station, somebody's going to open the door for you. They're going to say please and thank you, sir and ma'am. All those things that come with politeness, you're going to see a lot with the Iowa people. And when you move here, you're going to become one of them, and you're going to become known as an Iowan. Now, the next one is probably known by a lot of you, and that is that Iowa is known kind of for its corn, and it's because we're actually the #1 corn producer in the nation. We produce about, I think, 2.5 billion bushels per year, which is actually just a little bit less than Nebraska and Minnesota combined. So it's quite a bit of corn that is produced here. So if you're moving, you're going to expect to see a lot of cornfields all around. You may be in the city where you're not seeing it as many, but just outside the city, you're going to see a lot of them. So what do people do with all this corn that we're producing? Well, honestly, you don't actually eat most of it. Most of it is going towards ethanol. I want to say it was like, when I looked it up, like 60% of it is going towards ethanol, which, if you don't know what ethanol is, it's a form of gasoline that's renewable that you can put in your cars and all of that. So that's where the majority of the corn is going. And when some people think corn that you buy at the grocery store, that's actually called sweet corn. The corn that's produced mainly in Iowa is called field corn. It gets super rock hard, and it's not very edible, right off the cob. So that's why they use it for ethanol, but they use it for other things. For example, I've seen products made out of it that is basically making plastic from corn. It's biodegradable, so it's a great product. But the other biggest consumer of this corn that is made in Iowa is actually for animal feed. So your cows, your pigs, your chickens, it's made for a lot of that so that we can have meat in the grocery stores as well. But it also is used a little bit to consume. It's not bad for you to consume it, it's just not going to be the best tasting thing. So what they do is they grind it up and add it into other foods that are processed into, crackers or whatever else it could be. So that's what all that corn is used for, and Iowa is known to produce the most amount of it. Now, I mentioned it before, but the Iowa State Fair is kind of a big deal here in Iowa. We have all that food on sticks, but not only is the state fair a big deal, but all the county fairs are a big deal. It's a great way for people to get out, see the community. They have 4-H and they have FFA, so to get the kids involved, they do, best vegetable, they do different projects. I've seen kids build birdhouses. It's just a really cool way to get the community involved, and everything funnels up into the Iowa State Fair. So if you're winning at your county fair, there's a chance that you're moving up into the state fair at the big leagues, if you want to call it that. So it's a really important part of Iowa culture to go to the county fairs, and honestly, they're a lot of fun. Right here in Davenport, they have the Mississippi Valley Fair, and they get some really big names in there as far as musical talent. Just a couple years ago, I believe they had Pitbull here. So it's just a really fun time to go to the county fairs, not only the state fair. So just expect that when moving to Iowa, it's going to be a big part of the culture here. Okay, so when you move here, pay attention to where you're driving. And that's only because of the deer in Iowa. I swear some of these deer are a little bit suicidal. I honestly don't know what's going on. Deer will run out on the road, stop in front of your car, and get hit. I don't know what it is about it, but that's what they do. And we have a ton of deer here because of all the cornfields that we have. So be prepared for that. Now, I had an old roommate. He was driving a small little car, And in the morning he was just driving along, and a deer ran out right in front of him, smacked the top of the car. It just demolished the car. It was really, really horrific, to be honest. He was really lucky not to get hurt. So because of that, he decided to go buy himself a Subaru, and he's driving his brand new Subaru, and it had to have been, I don't know, 2 months after purchasing, he hits another deer, and it just destroys the front end. It doesn't total the car, but it really messes it up. So he has to send it off to the shop, and he's waiting for that car to come back, and they were backed up, so it took him a little bit of time to actually, get his car back. So we're talking maybe a month to get his car back into a workable condition. He picks it up. He's so happy after driving his rental car for a while, and only 2 weeks after he picked it up, he hits another deer. So when I say they're a problem, that's an extreme example, but they are a problem, so be ready for it. And be ready for it specifically around the fall time. This is when deer go into a rut. If you don't know what that means, fellas, when you're trying to pursue a girl and you have blinders on and you don't know anything around you, well, that's what's going on with the deer. They're running after the girls, trying to find a mate, and sometimes they're just not paying attention. So they get out on the road and then they get hit. So prepare yourself if you're moving to Iowa that there's going to be deer on the road, especially in the evening times and especially in the fall, so be ready for it. Now, as much as I love making these videos, I also love helping people find the perfect place for them to live. So if you want any help or have any questions, like I said, my number's down below. Give me a call, send me a text. But if you want to know more about what Iowa is, well, check out this video right here, because I do cover it in a little bit more detail than I did in this video.